Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask, Heidi. It is a Thursday. Today is the 13th day of April. It's National Scrabble Day, National Thomas Jefferson Day, National Peach Cobbler Day, which is good stuff, by the way, National Make Lunch Count Day today, and then this next thing, I have to look and see what this is because I don't think I've ever heard of it. National Born Queeners Day? Born Queeners?
Never heard of it.
This is Congress designated April 13th as National Born Queeners Day. Shows that these unsung heroes are finally being recognized. National Born Queeners Day honors the bravery and sacrifice of the 65th Infantry Regiment.
Oh.
Okay. Well, what a bizarre name that is.
Yeah.
I wonder why they call it that. So, okay. What is the name Born Queeners? Let's see. Comes from Borinquen, a name given to an island of Puerto Rico. All right. Well,
Okay.
It probably makes sense there. I just had never heard of that. Hey, it's a Thursday as well, so we do have a Dear John letter. I'll probably mispronounce a lot of stuff in. We'll get to that coming up. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
What a year. With prices on everything going up, it's more important than ever to have a better credit card. Some people use a credit card that's not a very good one. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. Bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. In a study, people who ate chocolate a few times per week or more weighed less than those who rarely indulged in chocolate.
I could see that.
The finding does not prove
Not
that
like
adding candy...
binging on it,
Yeah.
but having a piece or two.
Yeah, they say the finding does not prove that adding a candy bar to your diet will help you anyway shed pounds, but researchers said it's possible the antioxidants in chocolate could be behind the health benefits, including lower blood pressure and lower cholesterol, as well as decreased body weight. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with...
with
what
the
you're
amount, how much of it you're
doing.
eating.
Yeah, because for me...
Because that's my problem.
That's what I was going to say. I don't know that I can have just a bite.
Yeah,
like, that was
exactly.
good, and I
It's-
want 7 more bites.
All or
That's
nothing.
Yeah. All right. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Heidi, did you know scientists are always trying to understand the full purpose of sleep? But we know one thing it's probably good for is keeping you on a diet. Yeah. Researchers scanned the brains of 12 normal weight men while they looked at images of high and low caloric food after a night of normal sleep. Then they also had a night without any sleep. After one night of zero sleep, the scans showed a higher level of activity in the area responsible for hunger. It's the right anterior cingulate cortex. That's exactly what I thought it was. Yeah, so they're saying by not getting enough sleep, you're hungry. I have that happen. And if
I absolutely agree
And
with
if
that.
I'm not getting enough sleep, then typically what'll happen, I'll be working on something and it'll be like the middle of the night. And I'm like, hey, we have
and then you
leftovers.
jump up and go get something to eat.
Because
You
Heidi's
shouldn't
done
be
that
eating.
before. She'll go to bed and then the next day she's like, what happened to the leftovers? I'm like, I ate those at like 3 a.m. So,
Yeah.
all right. We don't know everything, but now we know this.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. Brad Pitt is trading houses with Eileen Getty.
Trading
Last
houses?
month, it was reported that Pitt sold his Los Feliz, California home, and the 65-year-old heiress was the purchaser. Now we're learning that Pitt has purchased her property in the same area for $5.5 million. Getty paid $33 million for Pitt's home, by the way, more than 2-acre compound. So he was downsizing big time, wasn't he? Multiple parcels of
I
land.
think he'll make it.
Yeah, 5.5
I'm not too
million.
concerned for
No,
him.
I get it, but he's she paid him $33 million. He bought hers for $5.5 million.
That's great. I
Yeah.
would say he did well.
He did very, very well. So Kim Kardashian is adding a bloody new acting role to her resume. She's adding American Horror Story Season 12.
Holy cow, I didn't even know that was still on.
Yeah, I didn't either. We watched a couple.
We did watch it
and there
for a
were some
while.
seasons that were really good, and then there were some you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
next. That's not good. Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com.
How much do you pay for your cell phone every month? If it's more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring in your current phone. iPhones and Samsung phones both work well with Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying, just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. John Rahm became the fourth Spaniard to win the Masters, beating Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson by 4 shots at 12 under.
Nice.
Did I say any of that right?
You did, actually.
Did I say some of those things right?
Yeah.
By 4 shots at 12 under. I don't know
12
what that
under
means.
par.
Is that what it is?
He won by 4 shots at 12 under par.
I know nothing about sports, so if I got names wrong, if I pronounced all of it wrong, I just had somebody send it to me. They were very excited about it. I was like, oh, hey, thank you very much. And Coachella Music Festival, it says here it kicks off this weekend, so I think that's this weekend. I don't know when I got this story. And if you're thinking about naming your child after a comic book character or after a celebrity,
just don't.
Maybe don't. They say you don't want to be among the increasing number of parents experiencing, quote, baby name regret.
Yeah. If they do something stupid, you can't.
A baby name expert says more parents are finding themselves remorseful over the names they have given their children. And it's probably because they have so many more choices these days. 25 years ago, the book 15,000 Baby Names was published. Today, baby name books and websites have over 100,000 names. Yeah. Psychologists have found that more choices can lead to more regret or to a complete inability to choose a name. That happened with my sister.
It did.
Remember that?
Yeah.
My nephew was like 4 days old, and they're like, hey, we finally picked a name. And Heidi said, I was the one that actually picked the name. I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
But his name is Lincoln, by the way. I was like, that'd be kind of cool. So I guess, hey, congrats on the cool name, man. Expectant parents experience this because the number of available names has risen. Names are becoming more important. Every choice sends a stronger signal. I watched a movie where every character's name in the movie, all the kids had very unique names, and they said that they were the only one in the world with that name. I don't think I would want to be that because you'll never find a keychain at a gas station.
No.
My name is John. I was always on the list because that's a very, very common name, and I'm fine with that. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
InsuranceChicken.com wants to know, how much are you paying for your insurance? I know it seems like a hassle to switch to a different company, but if you can save a few bucks, it's worth crossing the road to InsuranceChicken.com. We have several of the top insurance companies trying to earn your business. They do that by offering great insurance that is cheap, cheap, cheap. Okay, enough of the silly chicken puns. It's time to get serious about saving you money on your insurance at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
It's time right now for
Dear John Letters.
Dear John, dear John.
All right, I'm excited to see what Heidi has to say about this. We've not talked about this letter at all. Usually we'll chat about it a little bit, but Heidi has no clue what's coming her way.
I don't.
Dear John, I need your help. My wife and I have a 3-year-old daughter. She's a great kid, but she's getting a mind of her own, and we're already feeling outmatched. Bedtime has become a challenge. Her bedtime is 7:30. She gets a bath and a story and then goes to sleep. Well, lately, she has not stayed in bed. She gets up and comes out to see what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we put in a rule. We got a monitoring system that has colored lights. We activate that with an app. She knows when the light is red, she is not allowed to leave a room. That's worked for a couple of days. But then she started testing us, like kids do. She started opening the door and tiptoeing into the hallway. We watched it all on a camera. We told her that we knew she was leaving the room and that if she does it again, an alarm would go off. Well, later that night, we were watching, And as soon as she opened the door, I pushed the button and the alarm went off. Well, she started screaming and crying and jumped back into her bed. My wife calmed her down and put her back to sleep, but now my wife is furious. She can't believe I would actually scare my daughter like that. I said, hey, if we don't follow through on our promises, my wife called them threats, he says, she'll never do anything we say. But she's still angry at me. But I will also say this, my daughter now stays in bed.
I bet she does.
And goes to sleep. Was I wrong? Did I take this too far? Signed, I'm on my own on this one. So, Heidi, what do you think?
I don't think he took it too far.
You know, here's the thing. I think you guys should have talked.
It's not like he told her there's a monster under her
No.
bed that was going to grab her. or
Well, and
anything.
you didn't put a shock collar on her or something, because that would have been taking it too
The
far.
only thing that concerns me is if there's ever an emergency, if there's ever a fire or something, now she's going to be afraid to open her bedroom door.
Yeah, and that's where I think that maybe you guys could have talked ahead of time, because here's the thing. Communication solves a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
So if you and your wife are not on the same page, you should have known that before any of this happened. We were pretty fortunate. I remember our daughter, when she was a baby.
Our son would tell us when it was time to go to bed.
My favorite story about that. I'm gonna veer off track for a second because it's just so funny. Our son, who's now in his 20s, but at the time he was like 15 years old, and it was New Year's Eve. We had friends over on New Year's Eve, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and everybody's talking and stuff. And his door opens. He comes down the steps wearing a robe, and he has a little sleep mask up on his
Looks like
forehead.
Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, he's wearing his slippers, and he walks downstairs, and he looks at a whole room full of adults, and he's like, do you guys know what time it is? You guys about ready for bed?
Trying to sleep up here.
All of our friends laughed. I'm like, okay, thanks, Grandpa Troy. No, we were pretty darn fortunate. Our daughter.
Yeah, both of them were great. Well, when she was little,
She used to turn, like her crib was too close to the light switch.
Yeah.
So she would stand up and she'd reach over and turn the lights on.
on and off and on and off.
But
and
there
on
was
and
no
off.
other place to put the crib. And I was like, I don't want to have it over by the windows because there were like a
Right.
string on the blinds. I'm like, that would be really bad to have it near that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the only place. And I finally said, should we just take the light bulbs out? Maybe that would help. We did not do that, by the way. But she did finally quit turning the lights on and off. But again, back to this. It does sound like, that would startle me, honestly, to have an alarm go off. But you guys talked about it ahead of time, or at least it sounds like you did. So maybe in the future, make sure you're on the same page before you do something, because
I do
again,
agree with him. If you say something's going to happen and then
Yes.
that doesn't happen, like if you tell your child the stove is hot, don't touch it, she's not going to think that you're telling the truth because
Yeah.
nothing happened the last time you told her something
Yeah.
was going to happen. So you got to make sure you know what you're talking about and you can follow through if
but
you
make
say
sure
something.
make sure the consequences are also something that
You're both on the same page with.
that's something that you're okay with. Because again, kind of sounds like more of an issue here was the fact that the alarm scared her, and now your wife is mad at you because you pushed a little alarm button that scared your daughter. There might have been some better way to do that. Again, I still think that's better than like a shock collar or something. So yes, good job on that.
Father of the Year.
I'm on my own on this one. I don't know if we helped you there or not. You can chime in with advice at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. You can also submit your Dear John letter for next week, either on our Facebook page or at the bottom of the website, johnandheidishow.com.
What a year. With prices on everything going up, it's more important than ever to have a better credit card. Some people use a credit card that's not a very good one. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. Bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The first 1080p video on YouTube was the Muppets rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Aww.
Yeah, so it was like the first super high quality video on there. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Kangaroos cannot hop backwards. Yeah.
I think we've talked about that before.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Sharks existed before trees did. Okay.
Yeah.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Dogs that are slightly underweight live an average of 2 years longer than dogs that are slightly overweight.
You think?
Yeah, well, somebody did the study and they put all the time into it and we printed it off. I'm going to read it, Heidi.
Super.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The 5-cent nickel coin is made up of 75% copper and just 25% nickel. So they could have been called a copper. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The average vehicle has more than 30,000 parts and takes 21 hours to build.
Wow.
Several fun facts. Now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Time now for the Mint Mobile question of the day. Yay! It's brought to you by Mintervention.com. Question, Heidi. 2 out of 3 hiring managers agree doing this will eliminate you from consideration for a job opening. What is it? It should be 3 out of 3, by the way. 2 out of 3 managers agree?
Showing up late for the interview.
No, texting or answering a call during the interview.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge mistake.
One person would still hire them. They're like, we really, really need somebody. So if you could wrap up that call, I'd like to hire you.
When can you start?
Mint Mobile question of the day comes your way, courtesy of Mintervention.com.
How much do you pay for your cell phone every month? If it's more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring in your current phone. iPhones and Samsung phones both work well with Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying, just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Police in the United Kingdom say an object that they thought might be a decomposing human hand was not a decomposing human hand. You know what it turned out to be, Heidi?
What was it?
Turned out to be a fake hand made out of rubber.
Oh.
Yeah. Officers started an investigation when a gardener was digging in a garden.
Right.
And they came across a human hand, they thought.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah, they stopped gardening instantly. They called the police. The police got there, didn't really know for sure what was going on. Kind of dug around, pulled out, oh, it's just a hand. And then they realized, okay, it's an artificial hand. So it's either like a rubber joke hand or maybe, they're not exactly sure. But somebody put it in the garden, probably thinking it would be funny when somebody dug it up. And you know what? They were right.
That's true.
Weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Time now for the list brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. Ladies' Home Journal made some predictions back in the year 1900. So I don't have.
I bet they're way off on a lot of stuff.
They said Mexico in the future will be asking to join the United States. So they thought that in the year 1900. They also thought the letters C, X, and Q will be removed from the alphabet because they're unnecessary.
Okay.
In 1900, C, X, and Q were unnecessary. Russian will be America's second most popular language, they thought, in the year 1900. Strawberries would be as large as apples, they thought, in the future. So I've seen some pretty big. That would be
cool.
That would be. I've seen some big strawberries, but not quite that big. And the last thing that I have on my list anyway, in Ladies' Home Journal made this prediction back in 1900. Everybody will walk at least 10 miles a day. Nope, we've kind of gone the other way.
Yeah, we've done the exact opposite
we don't hardly do
there.
any walking. All right, the list brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
InsuranceChicken.com wants to know, how much are you paying for your insurance? I know it seems like a hassle to switch to a different company, but if you can save a few bucks, it's worth crossing the road to InsuranceChicken.com. We have several of the top insurance companies trying to earn your business. They do that by offering great insurance that is cheap. Okay, enough of the silly chicken puns. It's time to get serious about saving you money on your insurance at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for the quote of the day. It comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Our quote today is from Sir Alec Iziganos. Nailed it. I apologize. I have no idea who this is, but I'm sure somebody awesome. Sir Alec. I mean, just that right there. You know he's awesome.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But I love the quote, too. Sir Alec says, "A camel is a horse designed by committee."
Okay.
So he's basically saying committees don't get things done correctly. They maybe take time and do silly things. All right, that is the quote of the day. It comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news. I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. And this reminds me of a movie that we just watched and a gentleman that I'm going to be talking to about the movie. But here's the headline. Atta girl, I'm proud of you. Man guides rookie pilot through emergency landing over a radio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just watched a movie on A Wing and a Prayer with Dennis Quaid and Heather Graham. Going to be visiting, I don't know if it's next week. It must be next week with the creator of the movie. So I thought, what a cool story that's coming out. And this story was based on a true story that happened on Easter in like 2009 maybe.
Right.
But this other story just recently happened. A young pilot on her third solo flight found herself in, quote, the scariest moment of her life.
Yikes.
But somebody in the sky was looking out for her. 21-year-old Taylor Hash took off in Michigan March 17th and soon learned that she would have to land without a front tire.
Oh.
She said it was definitely the scariest moment I've ever had in my life, the rookie pilot told Today. A veteran pilot was in the air when he saw a piece of the landing gear fall from her plane.
Oh, my gosh.
Yates, the former director of aviation at SpaceX, got on the radio and calmed Taylor down while guiding her through the emergency landing. He said, "What's your name?" he asked the young pilot. "Taylor," she responded. As luck would have it, Taylor is also the name of his daughter, who he taught to fly airplanes. So that was kind of a fun thing. He's just calming her down. "My daughter's name is Taylor. I taught her to fly.
Yep.
We're going to be just fine, kiddo." And he walks her through and talks her through how to land
That's amazing.
an airplane without the front wheel. Because like
Wow.
when you're landing, I don't know if you know this, but those wheels, they're
You kind of need that.
kind of important, you know? So anyway, there's video online where you can watch this. Was from Inside Edition, the Today Show. She's been on all kinds of different things, getting a lot of coverage. She and he both, which again, very well deserved. I think it's a neat story. I've got a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.